Welcome to the Functional and Integrative Medicine Podcast. This podcast is all about exploring root cause medicine, showcasing the power of this approach, and inspiring other medical providers to follow this incredible path. I'm your host, Ginger Allen, and founder of Your Medical Liaison, a medical marketing agency working with medical providers since 2012. My passion for root cause medicine and provider advocacy drives me to help medical providers who have incorporated functional and integrative medicine into their practices. So let's dive in. Today's guest is a physician who made a powerful shift from conventional care to root cause healing and never looked back. Dr. Emily Roedersheimer, known by her patients and peers as Dr. Emily, is a board-certified family physician and an Institute for Functional Medicine certified practitioner. She's the founder of Balanced Living Functional Medicine, where she helps patients reverse or dramatically improve chronic health conditions through personalized whole person approach. After more than a decade practicing traditional family medicine in Columbus, Ohio area, Dr. Emily saw firsthand the limitations of the conventional model. That led her to functional medicine, where she now empowers patients to take charge of their health with a focus on lifestyle, root cause investigation, and long-term healing, not just symptom management. Her work is redefining what everyday medicine can look like and proving that even small practices can make a big impact. So let's jump into the inspiring conversation with Dr. Emily, and welcome to the show, Doc.
Thank you, Ginger. Thanks for the introduction. I'm excited to chat.
We are excited to have you on the show. I want to kind of just dive right in with you. And if you can share with us, share your journey, both personal and professional, that led you to create Health Begins Here program and embrace functional medicine.
Sure. Yeah. So my journey starts way back when I was 10 years old. I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis.
Oh.
Had that for most of my life, and I didn't know anything about functional medicine at the time, but went on to become a primary care doctor. I was in family practice for about 15 years when I read an article written by Dr. Hyman about functional medicine. And he was talking about how food can create inflammation. And here I am practicing family medicine for many, many years and had never heard that concept. And I was very intrigued and thought, well, what is this? I'm going to have to learn more about this. So he was suggesting a change in what you were eating to lower inflammation. I thought, well, I'll take this on. So I went on sort of an elimination diet, so to speak. And within 30 days, my symptoms were dramatically reduced. At the time, I was injecting myself with 2 strong medications to keep my rheumatoid arthritis at bay. And this was an eye-opener. I thought I was going to be on those medicines for the rest of my life. It was a light bulb moment. And so I said, I need to learn whatever I can about this functional medicine stuff, And so I started pursuing my training in functional medicine. And I just started to, whatever I learned, I implemented it on myself. I was my first guinea pig, patient. And ultimately, over the course, it took, a couple years of learning and training and doing all of this on myself. And I can say now I don't take any medications for rheumatoid arthritis. I'm in remission. I feel amazing. And I am on a mission to help others with their chronic illness.
That is amazing. And, I just had another clinician on the podcast prior to you, and she also came to it through a personal experience. And and so many of my clinicians that I work with now, I think about it, they had, because of their own health diagnosis or own health journey, led them to looking into the functional and integrative medicine. And that is just so inspiring. Hear you say that, you suffered for so many years and you are now in remission. That, God bless, that is amazing.
Thank you. There was definitely some divine inspiration there, and landing that article on my desk that I read that day many years ago. I feel like if my story only just inspires somebody else to start to learn and know that there are other options, there are things that can be done outside of the conventional medical model, not necessarily without, but other things you can do to start creating some health in your body on your own.
We won't go into it because, this podcast is for other clinicians.
Sure.
So I could just say, since we all know that a lot of times these medications that are prescribed for these types of diseases, cause so many other issues. And if we can find holistic natural ways to put these diseases into remission, let's do it, right? Let's do it.
For sure.
So I love that. And how many years ago was that, Doc, that you landed into functional?
Yeah, well, my practice now, so I ultimately left family practice and opened up my own functional medicine practice. And that's been 6.5 years ago. So I think this was probably around 8.5 years ago or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
And so, well, let's talk about your program. So your program helps clients reduce symptoms by 63%. I saw a statistic in just 3 months. What's the secret behind the success, and how do
Yeah.
you support those clients along the way?
Sure. I would love to talk about this because it's a very different approach from what most functional medicine docs do. And I think it can be such a game changer for the life of a functional medicine physician. What I've come to over the course of my years in practice, I've come to find that the power of the lifestyle, which is really was so profound in my own life and is so profound in the lives of our clients, is really where I want to start. And so what I did is I created my Health Begins Here program. It is strictly a lifestyle program. It's run by my 3 board certified functional medicine coaches. So I have health coaches on staff, and they are guided by me, but they are one-on-one with clients twice a month, helping them institute nutrition change, sleep improvements, movement, stress management, shifting their lifestyle. And that's all that's happening in those 3 months. A lot of education, a lot of support, a lot of accountability, and we see on average I think a lot of your listeners probably know what the medical symptom questionnaire is. It's used by the IFM. We measure that at the beginning. We measure that 3 months in. Well, actually, we're measuring it all along the way, but within 3 months period of time, we see on average 63% reduction of symptoms. And it's profound. And then if that client would like to go on and work with me, so, somebody that's still got some more work to do, by the time they get to me, they know all the language, they know all the lifestyle pieces they're supposed to be, so I found myself
They're detoxed.
Oh, yeah, they are like
they're ready to go.
they're already like leading their community. Like they're the one in their friend group where their friends are like, "What should I eat?" When they go out to dinner. So it makes my job so much
Of course.
easier. Yeah. And I find that, all this background noise gets quieted down when the lifestyle is dialed in. So now I can really focus on the couple symptoms that are left. And while maybe if I saw them initially, I would have ordered lots of testing. Now I can order much fewer tests, much more focused tests, and the use of supplements becomes much more dialed in as well, because I'm not trying to chase every little thing that was really ultimately being caused by their lifestyle.
Wow. I am so glad you shared that because, this podcast is designed for clinicians to, speak to other clinicians and educate clinicians on what's working, what's not, best practices, how we got here, and what a smart way to run your medical practice.
Well, thank you. It does take quite a burden off of me. I found myself getting really frustrated saying the same lifestyle things. Oh, like, this is how you do an elimination diet. No, that's not okay. I was getting all of that, and I don't have to do that anymore. And
Right?
it's so beautiful. And so it frees me up to be, to do the things that really only I can be doing in the practice, and allows these beautiful health coaches. I have hired my coaches through the FMCA, Functional Medicine Coaching Academy. They
Okay.
are well trained and well prepared, and they are better at coaching somebody in lifestyle change than I am, because I don't have a coaching background. So it's a win-win.
And, I've heard a lot of my clinicians say that, if my patients would just adhere to the lifestyle changes, the reason why I don't have as much success is because they won't fast or they won't stop eating gluten or whatever. So what you're doing which is so genius, is you're reverse engineering it to say, listen, let's address all this lifestyle stuff first and make sure that this patient actually wants to get better and do the work. Because, I was talking with the previous podcast person, and, we were talking about how we need to talk more to patients about these lifestyle things, not as going into it as, oh, well, I'm sure this is going to be hard and you're not going to want to do fluid. And no, you need to stop eating gluten, period, end of subject. Like, when you give me a prescription and you say, take 2 pills a day for a week, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
If you tell me with conviction, you need to stop eating gluten, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to stop eating gluten. But if you come at me with, well, today I'm going to give you something that really you're not going to want to hear. And
Yeah.
difficult, and your conviction is not there. But like you said, these coaches, that's what they're trained to do, is to coach people how to make lifestyle changes. That's not what doctors are trained to do.
That's exactly right. It's really hard in today's day and age to change your lifestyle. Like, our society is not set up for health promotion, right?
No.
So yeah, I honestly feel like I wish every person could have a health coach, because I think the world would be a much healthier place.
Absolutely. For the business side of it, so they're signing up for a program, Dr. Emily, they're signing up for a program, and then is it a 3-month program, a 6-month program, a 1-year program? What can you dive into a little bit? Because I think this is so genius. I think other practitioners would love to hear how you have this set up.
Sure. And I'm happy to chat with other practitioners if they want to. But yes, we have a 3-month minimum, because really you need time to make these changes and to make them really stick.
Of course.
Anybody can just do a diet for 10 days, but it's not your life, but until a longer period of time. So 3 months is our minimum. Most people stay 3 to 5 months. I have 3 clients in the practice right now who have been with their coach for a year and continue to do coaching, because they're just getting better and better. But some people go at a little slower pace, and it's a relationship that is unlike any other, because where the doctor has to be so focused, labs and supplements and all the things, the coach is really just there to be of support. So sometimes they don't have, that type of relationship in any other area in their life. So it's really helpful.
Yeah. It's kind of like a personal trainer. I know that I need to go work out, but I'm not going to do it unless
That's right.
trainer shows up at the gym and is like, Ginger, I'll meet you there in 5 minutes. Some people, and I'm one of those people, and I'm type A personality. Like, I'm a hard worker. I'm a productive person. It's not that I don't want to work out. It's that I need the accountability.
Yes. It's exactly, I love that analogy. Yep.
I need the accountability. Okay. So it's a 3-month minimum program. They're coming in, they're paying a fee for this program. And then at what point do they meet with you?
Yeah. So that program, the Health Begins Here, if they want to meet with me, that would be at the end of 3 months is the earliest, or when they feel like they've gotten everything out of that program. So they can continue on a month-by-month basis beyond 3 months if they'd like. When they feel like they're finished with that, they can either work with me or they can choose to graduate. Honestly, I have a lot of clients that come through the practice, get some resolution through the coaching and all the resources that we offer, and then they graduate and they're better and they don't even need to see me.
Oh my gosh. So they never even meet with you. Wow.
Which might scare doctors. I want the physicians listening to know that it's not a bad thing, because my time gets freed up. I do meet with my coaches. I oversee the progress of those
You're
people.
in the loop, of course.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a beautiful thing to witness the transformation that these people, mostly women in my practice, are having. And at the end, and then they're graduating and their whole life is changed. They have all the tools, all the education. They know what to do if they get in a bind, if they fall off the wagon, they know how to get back on track. It's just so profound.
Just to clarify.
Sure.
You're not running any initial labs. You're not doing any initial intake. You're just having them meet with the coaches. The coaches are doing all of that work. You're getting the reports from the coaches on what it is this client has and what the protocol is giving. And if you see the coach is not quite on the right track, you might say, with this particular patient, I would prefer that you have them, whatever, not eat sugar or whatever the thing.
Exactly.
You are critiquing and making sure that. Okay.
If they're hitting a wall or not moving forward, I'll give ideas or that sort of thing. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. If they meet with you once they've done the 3-month, are they doing like a one-time consult? Is it an ongoing membership program? What does that look like?
My whole practice is a membership model. So there's always a monthly fee based on whatever level of care you're getting. And so, yes, so to work with me, we call that the deep dive, and that's a 3-month minimum again, but it's always on that monthly membership rate. And then they can step down from there. If they don't need me every month after that, we can go to every 3 months and every 6 months and once a year if needed. But yes, it's a membership, which I'm a huge fan of.
So you start right off the bat in a membership program. So even on those first 3 months, you're in a membership program, you're paying a monthly fee. Got it. Okay. I love it. All right. So back to the clinical fun stuff. So you reversed your own RA using functional medicine. Can you tell us how that experience shaped your work today?
Yeah, it literally is why I'm here. I would have just continued in primary care, not knowing the power of functional medicine. I would just be still doing what I was doing before. This was such a light bulb moment. When I went to my first IFM conference and they're talking about root cause, and I thought, well, my gosh, like that is exactly it. Like why did I never hear this term in medical school and all of my training? And so I mean, I'm so passionate about it. It's like it just lands, it feels so right. Functional medicine is like exactly what I was put on this earth to do. I'm so glad to have found it. And it's reinvigorated my passion for my work. I love to learn, where previously you might have to go to continuing medical education things and you're like, oh, I don't want to go. And, and everybody's sort of like, like worn down. And now I go to functional medicine conferences and people are excited and, and no one's like counting down the days to retirement. We're all like loving it.
Oh yeah. One of my doctors just started a concierge practice. He's 65 years old. I'm like, really, doc? We're starting this now? He's like, yep. And that is the theme. If I can tell you one theme of my podcast since I've been doing it, is these clinicians and these physicians are so joyful. They're so happy. They love what they're doing.
Yes.
They're helping people and they're not just helping people and making impact. They're enjoying their own lives.
Yes.
They're actually able to have a life. They actually are able to spend time with their children and their spouses and actually like have, a quality of life. So it's just the joy to see that, you guys are getting such joy out of practicing.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So I love that it's, really impacted you. Your focus is on helping overworked, busy women who put themselves last. Boy, does that resonate. What does pushing pause to heal mean?
Yeah.
And how can women begin to apply it into their daily lives?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's really for everyone, but my practice tends to draw the overworked woman, which I think is everywhere, is what I am working on every day, not to be, but I was definitely part of my healing journey was learning to slow down a little bit. And it was through one of my first functional medicine conferences where I saw actually that I was stressed because I didn't think stress, they teach you about it and the impacts. And I was like, oh, that's not me. I'm good, but they led us through a guided imagery or meditation type thing at my very first IFM conference. And it was maybe 15, 20 minutes long. So a pretty good length. At the end of it, I remember thinking, what is this feeling? Like, I feel so relaxed. I didn't even know that this was available to me, So that opened my eyes to say, wow, I really am not okay. So I started to take on, after I left that conference, I was like, okay, I don't have 20 minutes a day to do this, right? I could, but I wasn't in the time. And so I said, I'm going to start taking 5 minutes to just step away. And so I was still in primary care at the time. I would go at lunchtime, which when I had like piles of charts to work on and all kinds of things, I would force myself to leave the building and sit in my car for 5 minutes. And I would set a timer on my phone. And this is how push pause to heal. This is where it started. I would set a timer on my phone so I didn't have to worry I was going to overstay. But I would close my eyes, take some deep breaths, and just like let it all go for a minute. All the holding and all the bracing and the worrying. And like I just let it all go for those 5 minutes. And I'll tell you, when I got back to work after doing that, I just felt so much better. My energy was rejuvenated. My mind was clear. I could think and make decisions from an intentional place instead of from like a survival, let me stay on this hamster wheel kind of mode. And so that's where Push Pause to Heal was formed. So now I do talk a lot with my clients about taking micro breaks, which is really what that is, a small, tiny moment. And I call it pause instead of stopping because stopping freaks everyone out. But if we can pause for even a few minutes, And just let the nervous system come down for a moment. That's where the healing happens. We
Mhm.
can't heal very well in sympathetic drive. So just re-engaging with the parasympathetic state, allowing the body to do what it knows how to do when we're not chasing our own tail all the time.
So important. I just recently watched the episode with Mel Robbins where she had the neuroscientists and all the neuro docs on, and they talked about the two breaths in and one breath out, resetting the prefrontal cortex, because when we're on cortisol and our cortisol is running high and we're doing a million things, we're running on the amygdala, right?
Yes.
We're not,
Yes.
the prefrontal cortex is not working.
No.
And then we wonder why we can't make decisions and we can't think properly. It's because our
Exactly.
freaking brain is on overload. So
Yeah.
what you're sharing about pushing the pause to heal, same philosophy is give your brain a chance to reset, right? And come back to prefrontal cortex where all the thinking happens.
Yes,
Right? Instead of,
exactly.
running on our old brain, right?
Yes.
So important. So thank you for sharing that. And it
Sure.
applies to men too, guys. So
Yes. Yes.
if you want to use Dr. Emily's pause, you're welcome to as well.
Yes.
But obviously you were just sharing that you work with a lot of women, so that's
Yes. Yes.
that's how it started.
I think physicians as their own entity really need to put, like, more than others, have a higher need for a pause and deserve a pause. There's so much
Pushing pause to
going
heal.
on.
And how many of these a day are you recommending, Dr. Emily? For
Well,
a busy clinician that's seeing 20 patients,
yeah.
they're standing up eating.
Yes. Yes.
How
I mean, minimum of one. One is
okay,
a great, I mean, if I can just
2
get you
for
to
1.
do one. Yes. See how you feel.
Okay.
Some of my clients, I have this one young woman, she's a teacher, and we had her starting to do this pausing at her lunch break when her kids were not in the room. She would do her pause, and she said over the course of a couple days, she found herself craving it. She couldn't wait for that moment where she was going to get to do that again. So I think once you get a taste of it, a little glimpse of how good it feels, then you might be a little easier.
I love that. I love that. And then what advice would you give, or do you have, for other providers who want to integrate health coaching and lifestyle change into their practices?
Sure. Yeah, I spoke at the IFM conference about this. A lot of docs think that a health coach is going to take their patients away. And it absolutely is going to empower your patients. It's going to take the burden of the lifestyle piece off of the physician who's generally not trained as a coach.
Right.
And it's going to end up, you're going to have the best, well-prepared patients out there. And so I would really encourage you. And then the other piece I would say is my coaches are contractors. So they
That's
get
what I was going
paid.
to ask you.
Yeah, they get paid when they see a client. They bill me for that time. And so if they're not working, I don't have to pay. I'm not paying a salary. I'm not paying benefits. So there's not a initial loss there, like, oh, I have to have this money set aside to pay this person all the time. It's really just for their time spent. So there is a lot of safety in that. And then what I'm charging for the program is more. It's over and above what the coach is charging me, so that there's just it's a win-win.
And how often? You said the coaches meet twice a month. So is that for an hour?
Yeah,
Twice?
we do 90 minutes total a month. Most clients meet for an hour, and then 30-minute visit 2 weeks later, and then
Okay.
an hour again. And we find that cadence works pretty well. We have a couple clients that ask for 45 and 45, and that works fine too. But the bigger visits tend to dive a little deeper, and then the other ones are a little bit like, let's check on how that progress is going.
Which is great because you can budget that, how much time that coach is going to be spending. And like you said, they're a contractor. So you've got a set amount and what
Yes.
you're paying them for the month and what you're charging for your membership. So it works out great.
Yeah.
This has been just eye-opening and exciting because I've never had a clinician on the show yet that's doing this. And I think you, my dear, have come up with a genius way of
Thank
running
you.
a functional medicine practice that is making it not only more sustainable for you, but is actually getting the patients to do the work. And I think that's the challenge that I see most clinicians having is they get so frustrated with, well, my patients won't fast. Oh, well, my patients won't, get off the gluten. Well, if they would just do this, then I could do that. And
Mhm.
you're taking that burden off of yourself of trying to be this accountability coach, this accountability
Yes.
partner with somebody that wasn't what you were trained to do, right?
Mm-mm.
We
No.
to be a doctor, not to be an accountability coach.
Right,
So
right.
I love this way you've reverse engineered this. And I think that is genius. I
Thank
think
you.
it's just it's a win-win for everyone. It's a
Yeah.
win-win for the patient. It's a win-win for you. It's a win-win for all concerned.
The coaches are very happy. The coaches love to work as part of this team, you know? So it
Sure.
is a win-win for everyone. And I would just say, Ginger, my last thought, if I can share, is that
Please.
I think in my functional medicine training, there were times where I felt a little overwhelmed, like, oh, I need to know the entire, mitochondria in and out and the metabolomics and all the
The genome and all the
yeah,
epigenetics
and I
and
need
all
to
the
have
peptides.
IV, I need to have IV stuff and ozone and like really I think that's great and we definitely need that. Like
Oh, it's
there
all
are
great.
clients that need that. I treat mostly just the common person, not the zebras or the super sick people. And it can just be very simple. To a new clinician out there, you don't need the IV clinic. You don't need all the fancy gadgets and tools. Like when it comes down to it, lifestyle is so powerful and pretty much anyone can help set that up.
For clinicians that would be interested in finding out more, learning more about how you set this up, obviously they can go to your website. Will
Sure.
that show kind of the program structure and the kind of the questionnaire and the intake forms so they can get a kind of idea of what you're doing there?
It will show the structure as it is outward facing, looking for a new client. So yes, that's a
Right.
good place to start. And then there's a contact email on there. So if they want to send me an email and ask further questions, I'm happy to chat. I love the model that I've created. I sort of like just came upon it. It wasn't like this deeply thought out thing, but it works. And my life is really good because of it. And we get great outcomes, which is so beautiful to
That's the
watch.
most important thing. And so how can other providers or laymen's that would like
Sure.
to be a part of your program, give us the digits? How do they find you?
Yeah, my website is Balanced Living, balanced with a D, livingfm.com. And that's the easiest way. You could sign up for my newsletters. We send emails quite regularly. Email me there on that contact email. I'm starting a podcast soon.
Yeah.
It's called the Push Pause to Heal podcast. So I'd love you to follow me there.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and I will just mention that we've had a lot of physicians go through the Health Begins Here program.
Okay.
So if there's a
Learn it.
doc out
Learn
there,
it.
because we all need support, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
if
yeah.
there's a doc out there that's struggling with a certain piece of the lifestyle, my coaches are awesome and they can see clients anywhere in the United States. So I'd love to send that invitation out as well.
So because you're working under the kind of coaching program, not as an MD, are you licensed now? Are you able to see patients in all 50 states?
So my coaches can, yes. So that
Okay.
Health Begins Here is available to anyone,
You
anywhere.
you haven't dropped the MD yet, like some of the
Yeah,
other.
no, I know it's tempting. So, but I am licensed only in Ohio. So the second step of the piece, if they wanted to work with me, they'd have to be a resident of Ohio. But a lot of people just don't even need that. So,
Okay.
yeah,
And what about, are they allowed to fly into Ohio and then become a patient?
we could certainly work something out.
Okay. Because I
Yeah.
know once they've come to the clinic
Yeah.
and done an in-person. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So that is awesome. So we've got the information on how to reach you. Thank you so much for taking time out of your not so busy clinic,
That's right.
but out of your life,
Yes.
to share this knowledge with these other practitioners. It is really an honor to have you on the show. And thank
Thank
you so
you.
much. And hopefully I'll see you at some of the conferences coming up.
I would
And
love that.
thanks again for being on the show. And for the podcast, just so I can keep an eye, who's your target for? Are you doing an interview style podcast? Or is it just you?
Interview style.
And
So
who are you looking to have on the podcast? What type of people?
gosh, well, I'm looking to serve my audience of overworked, chronically stressed women to help
Okay.
them get inspired. So honestly, any functional medicine docs doing different things, new ideas, I'm happy to have all of that. So yeah, anyone that is interested in being a guest.
Would that apply to all overworked women out there on the planet? Relate to that.
Truthfully, we
I-
work. Yes, we work with a lot of high performing executives, like I said, physicians, orthodontists, like lawyers. We have that's
Okay.
yeah, we support the people who are supporting everyone else.
All right. Well, I will put my hand in the
Yeah, we would love to have you.
I'd love to be on your podcast.
Okay, great,
But
great.
thanks again for being on mine. So
Oh,
have a great day, Doug.
all right, you too. Thanks, Ginger.